Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea here. So I'm very excited today because I'm going to be doing a review and application of the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Palette. I have mine in the Lovegasm color, and I can't wait to share with you all my feelings, the details of this product, and how it wears. But before we get started, I just want to say welcome to all of my new viewers. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video, for taking some time out of your day to watch my review. And if you like this review and if you like this video, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. And hang out with me because I have a good time here, and I hope that you would enjoy having a good time with me as well. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching another one of my videos, subscribing to my channel, and supporting my channel. It means the world to me. So let's get into this video. So like I said before, we are going to be talking about the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Palette. I have mine in the Lovegasm shade, and let me not give it away, unless you've already watched my April favorites video. Hint. So as you can see, this is the palette. I have used this palette now, I want to say for 3 weeks. I purchased this palette when it was released early. Wayne Goss did a video about it, and he had a link in his video that took you to their early release access page, and so I purchased it there. So it's been, I want to say, a good 3 weeks since I've been using this. So I have a really good feel for how I feel about it, how the products work best, and yeah. So if you haven't seen this palette, here it is. Let me give you some details about it. So you have a highlight shade here. This is going to be a more champagne highlight shade, so let me go ahead and swatch it for you. So here we have the highlight shade. And then we have two blushes here. So this is the multi-glow blush. Then you have your Pop It shade here. And we have that swatched right here. And then lastly, we have I'm trying to find a clean finger. We have this cocoa, she describes it as a cocoa neutral bronzer. And that's the bronzer right there. So here are the 4 shades swatched on my hand. And as you can see, the highlight two blush shades are stunning. They show up very well on my skin. And you'll see that in the demonstration that they show up very well on the skin. This bronzer shade right here is my biggest disappointment with this palette, because looking at it in the pan, when I first saw this, I was like, finally, you know, she's coming out with shades that are going to really expand deeper into complexions. Not the deepest, but deeper than the norm. And when I swatched it, I was just like, okay, maybe it's just the top layer that I need to get off, and then I'll get the true pigmentation. But this is as deep as it will go. And you'll notice that when I apply it to my face, you see it very subtly, but you're not going to see it the way I like my bronzer to be seen. So if you are, I'm about an NC 44. I wear shade 9 in her Light Wonder foundation. If you're around my complexion, you can wear all 4 shades in this palette. If you are deeper than me, then you're only going to be able to wear the highlight shade and the 2 blush shades. The bronzer shade, maybe you can use that as an eyeshadow, because she does market this palette as a multi-use palette, to where you can use it on the face, you can use it on the eyes, you can even, you know, pop some on your lips in terms of like the highlight shade and the blush shades. So she does market this as a multi-use palette, but it all depends on if you feel that this palette is worth your money, if you can't use all 4 of the shades on your face like you would want to. Because that's how I like to use palettes or products the way that they are intended to use, and then as a bonus use them elsewhere, because it's expensive. It's $75. Nothing that Charlotte Tilbury releases is going to be pocket friendly. So you have to keep that in mind when you are considering purchasing this. The formula of the palette, or the formula of the powders, is a gelée texture. So when you swatch it, It almost feels creamy, but it does apply as a powder, but it does have a creamy texture. So I have heard other reviews and other people say that that could affect the way that it is applied to the face. The best way to apply these powders is with a natural hair brush, which I don't have. I thought I had one, and then when I looked it up, I was like, this is synthetic. So the reviews that I have seen that have used natural hair brushes, I can definitely tell it that they get more pigmentation than I do with the brush that I normally use with this. But I will still show you the brush that I use so that you can see what or how the products apply with a synthetic brush. And then I am going to purchase me a natural hair brush so that I can get the most pigment out of these powders. One more thing that I want to say, or a couple more things I want to say about this palette before we move on. You can apply these powders wet or dry. I have applied the blushes and the champagne shade, highlight shade, wet, and you do get way more pigmentation. So that is good to know that you can build these up to be very prominent highlighters or blushes. I've never applied the bronzer wet. Maybe I should. I don't know, bronzer wet, I don't know, it's kind of an oxymoron to me. But that is something that you can do. And then the last thing that I wanted to point out was the amount of product that you get. So each of the 4 pans are 3.8 grams or 0.13 ounces. So I do think you get a good amount of product. Like I said, you can see that I've used this product, and I will tell you all, in the past 3 weeks that I've had it, I have used this almost every time I've applied my makeup. I've used this a lot, and I haven't even put a serious dent in it. So I do think that you get a good amount of product. Okay, so let's get into the demonstration. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to just apply these to my face the way that I've been applying them to my face. I have on foundation powder, concealer, but I don't have anything else on my face. So I'm going to go in with my Sigma F40 brush. This is the large angled contour brush, the one that I thought was a natural hair brush, but it's not. I did just wash my brush, so I am kind of applying the bronzer a little wet. It's a little, the brush is damp. So here is the product on the brush. And so I just go in like so. And I apply the bronzer shade the way that I normally apply it. Now I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm getting way more pigmentation than I normally do, and I think it's because my brush is a little damp. So that's actually good to know, because usually when I apply this, to get the amount of pigment that I'm getting from this, I have to go in with a couple of layers and really build it up. That is another thing about this palette that I do like. You can build it up. So if you're someone who, you don't want a stark highlight, you like products that wear more subtly, you can build this up. So it is user friendly in my opinion, especially if you're not one to want to have to be careful with your makeup. Like, I don't want to have to be careful with my bronzer because then it'll look messy or, muddy. This is user friendly. I really have been enjoying it. Even with me not being able to wear the bronzer the way that I want to, I love this palette. I was trying to save it to the end, but oh well. I love this palette so much. I'm so glad that I got it. I love the fact that it applies almost like a cream. Like, it blends so easily into the skin, and it doesn't ever look patchy. It doesn't cling on to my foundation or the powders beneath it to where it would look like it's picking up the product. They just apply so pretty. So now we're going to go in with our first blush, and I like to apply this right about here and just take it up to the temples because I just think it looks so pretty. Yes, I'm getting way more pigmentation from all of these because my brush is already damp. So if you don't have a natural hair brush at home, damp your brush. So what I did was I cleaned my brush because it was dirty, and then I semi-dried it, on a towel. So my brush is not wet, but it is damp, and I'm getting so much more product payoff. Like, this is making me really happy now because I'm getting more pigment. All right, and then after I apply this first blush shade, I go in with this Pop It shade and I feather it along the apples of my cheeks, like so. Just to add a little dimension to the product. Or to my cheeks, I should say, not the product. That makes no sense. And that's that. And then I'm going to go in with my AOA Studio F19 brush. This is the brush that I like to use for highlight. And I just apply that right along here. So this brush is not damp. So this is the product applied to a dry brush. And as you can see, the highlight is definitely not as subtle as, it's not subtle to where you put it on and you're just like, well, where is it? Which I know some of her highlighting products can apply a little more subtly first, which is one of the things that I love about Charlotte Tilbury. I think her products just are so, they leave such like an ethereal glow on your face. And I love them. All right, and we're done. So, like I said, I've been loving this palette. I love the glow that it gives to my face. I do love, like, the one thing that is making me, like, recommend this product if you are my complexion or lighter is that I can use all 4 shades. If you're my complexion or deeper, then if you have the money and you feel like this is still going to be worth the money for you, go and get it. You won't be disappointed. Will you be able to use all 4 shades? No, not on your face at least, not the bronzer. The other shades, I think if you are deeper than me, the blushes and the highlights will look stunning. It's just that the bronzer is not going to show up. If you are lighter than me, so this palette was made for tan to deep skin. So if you are in the tan to deep skin complexion, get the Lovegasm shade. If you are lighter than tan skin, then she does have a Lightgasm shade that I've seen on other people. It looks just as gorgeous, but of course the bronzer shade wouldn't show up on my complexion, so that's why I didn't get it. Plus, that would have been $150, and I love you, Charlotte. No. Okay, so I wanted to compare the Lovegasm palette to her Filmstar Bronze and Glow palette. So I know that they're not anything similar at all, but I just wanted to compare the products. So, like I said, we've got the bronzer shade swatched here. So I want to swatch the bronzer shade of the Filmstar Bronze and Glow palette. I do have the deeper of the two. This one is the medium to dark one. So here is the bronzer shade from the Filmstar Bronze and Glow, and then this is the bronzer shade from the Glowgasm palette. And the Filmstar Bronze and Glow bronzer does show up better on my complexion, but it's also more of a shimmer bronzer, whereas the Glowgasm bronzer is matte. But in terms of undertone, they are different. The Glowgasm bronzer is definitely more neutral in its undertone than the Filmstar Bronze and Glow palette. And then in terms of the highlight shade, so here's the highlight shade from the Glowgasm palette, and then here's the highlight. I'll do it across here. Here's the highlight from the Filmstar Bronze and Glow palette. So if you were wondering, you know, if I have the Filmstar Bronze and Glow, is there any comparison between the two palettes? There's not, in my opinion. The highlight shades are different and the bronzer shades are different. Plus, with the Filmstar Bronze and Glow palette, you're not getting blushes, and you're getting blushes with the Glowgasm palette. Like I said, I absolutely recommend this palette because I think it's gorgeous. Like I said, I've used it so much that I've had to tell myself to not use it, to use other products. that's my review on the palette. I'm cracking up because I literally have on no lip. I also have on no mascara. But you know what? We're friends here. And some days it just works out like that. I was going to like do my face and then come back when, you know, put mascara on and a lip on and then like end the video. But you know what? We're just going to go ahead and end the video like this. How about that? I have on no earrings, no mascara, no lip products. I had a little bit of gloss on. But you know what? That's a real review for you guys. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and found this video helpful for you. Let me know your thoughts down below if you purchased this palette, if you're thinking about getting it. You guys have a great day, and I hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.